So Starship Troopers Extermination originally released into early access in May of last year, that being 2023, and while it looked great and it was exceptionally fun, it was rather bare bones, and I said so at the time. There was only a handful of game modes, that being two, three total classes, a few weapons that were shared between each, and a few weapons that were unique to each of those three classes, and some perks across those three classes as well. Well, in the time since its release, Off-World have been very busy since then with numerous bug fixes, balance patches, and updates of more content. With the new Vanguard update, which has pushed the game into version 0.7 and ever closer to a full release, there has been quite a bit of content to be had here. In prior patches, the Hive mode had been added, which is a 4-person squad-based game mode where that squad delves into caverns to exterminate bug hives with mini-nukes. Some cosmetics have been added per class, such as helmet visor colors, helmet decals, armor colors, and weapon colors. Following this, modifiers had been added to maps, as well as multiple new locations, changing how you approached each mission. Some missions now perhaps had more warrior bugs. Some had more grenadier bugs. Now some took place exclusively in the pitch black of night. Others are just pure benefits where you have experimental tech and your melee hits result in small explosions to the bugs, or your grenades have stronger or varied effects. The addition of the slew of modifiers has helped provide a more robust experience for the game, giving more variety, and they all rotate out every hour. Each game mode and difficulty will have different modifiers so that you can sort of pick and choose your poison. Numerous times after this latest update, a medium mission has been much more difficult to accomplish than the hard missions, whereas thanks to some of those provided boons, those hard missions were much easier to complete and closer to being easy in difficulty. Now these do only rotate every hour. I'd love if they did rotate a little bit faster, about maybe every 30 minutes or so, but the modifiers for each game mode and each difficulty are different, so there should always be something that you might want to participate in between the Horde, Arc, AAS, and Hive modes. Adding to difficulty now is the limited availability of team-wide reinforcements. Whenever someone dies and is not revived by a living teammate or a drone, you lose a ticket and thus a reinforcement. More reinforcements can be earned by completing objectives throughout the map, so you aren't always potentially decimated, but it does help to reinforce using teamwork and tactics, particularly on harder difficulties. If you do hit max level now, you can re-enlist as well, resetting your level and class back down to the start. Obtaining special cosmetics and items to display showing this progression, and if you really do feel the need to have that constant grind, it is available for you. So back are the days of that old prestiging that you had in classic style of Call of Duty, which really isn't a bad system to include for those who do want it. But enough about the past year of updates, let's talk about the big one that just dropped, the new Vanguard. Over the last few months, via press releases and with their roadmap, Off-World has teased that they would be revamping the game's class system. They were going to expand upon the 3 classes currently in the game and move this into 6 total classes. With how it previously was, each class really was just 2 halves of a whole smashed together. They were 2 separate classes combined and not extremely focused. Your heavy class is now split into the Guardian and Demolisher. One focus on being heavily armored and laying down mass amounts of suppressing fire and tanking, while the other focused on explosives, such as firing explosive munitions across the field. The Assault has been split into the Sniper and Ranger. The Sniper meant to be a more vertical class, gaining bonuses for scanning enemies for their team and revealing them, while the Ranger now wields SMGs and shotguns and is extremely fast, and their boost pack has been changed to a forward boost. The final 2 classes, being the Medic and Engineer, have been split off from the support. One focuses purely on healing, and the other building and running mining objectives and the such. With this split from the original 3 classes, more weapons, grenades, perks, and class abilities have been added to show off these classes more. The Guardian, for instance, can now equip a heavy energy cannon as their primary, and a new perk which will attract bugs to them. It is called Bug Pheromones, and they will essentially draw the aggro of bugs over other troopers around them. The sniper now has a few new marksman-oriented weapons available to them. There is a semi-auto DMR, or now even a bolt-action rifle, and some scan darts or a scan visor to highlight enemies for increased damage. These new classes, the prior 3 being split out into each that are more focused, really does add quite a bit to the game. You're no longer, like I said, 2 separate halves of classes matched together, but a whole class with unique weaponry, abilities, and perks, and the game is all the better for that. However, there's still plenty more room for Extermination to grow as well. With the new Vanguard, Phase 3 is all but finished on the roadmap, leaving 2 more phases left before that apparent 1.0 launch. Phase 4 has a heavy emphasis on player interaction, such as a player hub, emotes, and clans. Of course, new weapons, boss bugs, and marauder support is listed as on the way, as well as new planet locations and maps. Phase 5 will have a new metagame dubbed the Galactic War. Think along the lines of the Galactic War in Star Wars Battlefront 2, the original one, or sort of maybe how Helldivers 2 has it. There will also be way more customization being added apparently, new trooper classes, and apparently an upgrade to the gore system. Maybe we'll get some dismemberment, and plenty more on the way it seems. So, if you do have a hankering for some bug killing, but prefer to be in the first person, rather than the third person, in a 16-player cooperative squad, as opposed to a 4-player team, though there is that option for that more intimate 4-man tangle, if you want to go on a spelunking expedition, with the opportunity to take advantage of some RTS and base building elements thrown in to different amounts between the ARC and AAS game modes. Well, Starship Troopers Extermination might be for you. It is available on Steam currently. It is still in early access, and it is only priced at $29.99. Unlike many other early access games these days, there are no other sort of microtransactions in this title. There's not even like a deluxe edition. There's no battle passes, no microtransactions at all. It's just the game and its future content guaranteed up until 1.0 for that purchase price of $29.99. Who knows after that, though? I'm sure there will be content drops, perhaps some weapon skins or armor skins, stuff like that. And remember, the only good bug is a dead bug.